Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. It's our Israelite Advanced Bible Study night, Tuesday night. Okay, March the 2nd. April the 2nd, 2024. We'll be reading out of the book of Joshua. I found something there I wanted to shine a light on. Okay, you can go to our YouTube channel, the Prophets of Awakening, and check out our videos. We have a lot of videos that you can go through and search out information. Okay, our hours of operation are Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m. Central Time. And then Friday nights we have our clubhouse, means Advanced Bible Study. That's at 7 to 9 Central Time. And then we have 2 Shabbat classes on the Sabbath, one in the morning from 10 to 12 a.m. Central Time, and then we close out the Shabbat from 6 to 7 p.m. It's about an hour Central Time. Okay. For those that don't know, this is a non-Messianic channel. We deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. Tanakh being the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses by the Lord of Hosts. Okay, it consists of our laws, our statutes, our customs, and our way of life. Okay, shalom and welcome to this channel, and welcome to our Israelite Advanced Bible Study. So we're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence. We do a prayer, read the Psalms, and then we go into some current events and a little need-to-know information. Then we open it up for some Q&A and a little dialogue. Then we go into our topic, which is we'll be reading out of the book of Joshua. Okay. This moment of silence is for the Lord of Hosts and all that He's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. Okay. O Lord, righteousness and uprightness belongeth unto Thee. Therefore we come before Thee at this hour, seeking Thy face, looking for righteousness and uprightness, that we may walk before Thee as Thy servants David and Solomon, Samuel, and Hezekiah did. For we desire to walk after Thee, O Lord, keep Your commandments, testimony, and Your statutes with all our heart and soul, and to perform the words of the covenant that was written down by Your prophets. O Lord, allow Thy face to shine upon Thy people. Hear our plea, hear and do, O Lord, and hide not Thy face from us any longer, for we need You so very much at this hour. Peace be unto You. Okay? Read the Psalms. Okay? I'm going to read Psalm 26. Examine me, O Lord, and prove me. Judge me, O Lord, for I have walked in my integrity. I have trusted also in the Lord. Therefore shall I not slide. Examine me, O Lord, and prove me. Try my reins and my heart. For Thy loving kindness is before mine eyes, and I have walked in Thy truth. I have not sat with the vain persons, neither I go in with disassemblers. I have hated congregation of evil doers, and I will not sit with the wicked. I will wash my hands in innocency. So will I compass Thy altar, O Lord, that I may publish with Thy voice, with the voice of thanksgiving, and tell of all Thy wondrous works. Lord, I have loved the habitation of Thy house, in the place where Thine honor dwelleth. Gather not my soul with sinners, nor my life with bloody men, in whose hands is mischief, and their right hand is full of bribes. But as for me, I will walk in mine integrity. Redeem me, and be merciful unto me. My foot standeth in an even place. In the congregation will I bless the Lord. Okay, that was Psalms 26. Examine me, O Lord, and prove. So, Psalm of David. So David is telling the Lord that he keep His laws and statutes of judgment, and because of that, he asked Him to examine him. to make sure that he's clean. Okay. Into something. Okay. So with that being said, we're going to some current events. Okay.
Here in the United States, we are seeing something very interesting happen. And that is that millions of people are about to lose their jobs. But the crazy part about all this is that they have no idea why. What did they do wrong? Why are they being let go? That's what we're going to discuss today, because we continue to see story after story after story that businesses are simply closing. And this is something that is not going to stop.
Has joined several high-profile companies that have recently announced layoffs, among them Xerox, Wayfair, and Amazon.
What I can tell you right now is that these companies are going to continue to lay off more and more employees. The reason why? They've hired too many. Not only that, but corporate profits have been what has been propping up a lot of these businesses. And right now that we are seeing corporate profits start to drop, well, that has a lot of businesses highly concerned. And you and your job may be at risk because of it. So I want to address what's going on at this time. Make sure you watch this entire video, and I'll explain exactly what is going on. But all I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. Now, let's begin. So a lot of people are highly concerned about what is coming. And the reason why they're concerned is because they are, well, for one, concerned about their livelihood and their family. Number two, they have a lot more debt than they did a few years back. Number three, and this is probably the biggest one, they have no clue where to go from here. In previous years, when we would see a little bit of a downturn, for example, 2008, if you were around back then, you may remember that, yes, it was a tough time, but at the same time, there was still opportunities out there. Today, a lot of these opportunities are being taken by artificial intelligence and immigrants coming into the United States. This is causing a lot of people to panic. But here's what's happening. What is going to happen after these layoffs? Well, let's explain why we are seeing this first. Okay? Here's what experts are telling us. We are seeing millions of Americans unable to spend more due to their debt. So your debt has gotten so high, you cannot continue to spend. And so what's happening at this time is now those companies that were relying on you to go into their store and buy the new Nike shoes, to go and buy that new $14 burrito and the $18 Big Mac, those companies are now saying that they're hurting a little bit. So because of that, they have to lay off some of their staff. Another expert says businesses have been propped up by corporate profits. That's what's happening. This article right here from Business Insider, from actually today, says bumper corporate profits help prevent mass layoffs and a recession, says a leading economist. That's the concern, is that over the past year or so, we have seen profits from the corporations. They've been propping up all their other businesses. Now that profits are starting to come down, the concern is, which businesses do we let go of? And I bring this up because what we've seen is that some companies are just going to let go of their business. They're just going to let stores close and die. Just look at this. Family Dollar and Dollar Tree, they are planning on closing 1,000 stores. 1,000. There are some locations like a Walgreens, like Walmart's, Targets, that are closing down due to theft. But theft increases in certain areas because of some of their economic demands. These people don't have access to income. So because of that, they turn to stealing. Again, part of the problem. Now, that's not the only store that's closing down. Macy's is going to close about 150 stores, or 30% of its locations. That's going to hurt a lot of people, especially when they're going to have hundreds of people that they have to lay off. This is also one of the reasons why we are seeing worker confidence fall, because more companies are blaming overhiring as their reason to laying off employees. So workers, they don't feel confident at all. I remember I talked to somebody just the other day that works at a Walmart. She's one of the store managers. And although Walmart has many store managers, but she was saying that she's concerned because she wasn't one of the first managers hired during the whole pandemic boom. She wasn't. She was one of the last ones. And I say this, when I bring this up, that Walmart has multiple managers. You walk into a Walmart and ask for a manager, and you'll probably get 5 or 6 people come up to you because there's 5 or 6 managers. There's department managers. There's a store manager. There's a night manager, a day manager, just a manager's manager, right? You got all these people. And so the concern there is she may be let go because she was one of the last managers hired. And again, over hiring. Another expert says, being that we have not seen interest rates fall like many people projected, they're anticipating many businesses are going to start laying off more people because they have to find a way to be more efficient. Well, one of the ways they're going to do that is with artificial intelligence. And according to multiple reports, they're saying that artificial intelligence will harm workers. It is going to harm workers. They're going to have a tough time with this. The reason why? Because artificial intelligence, for one, is going to have a massive impact, especially on those that are not lower income workers. You try to bring somebody into go and stock a shelf, right? You're usually paying them minimum wage. They're very close. But do you think you can get artificial intelligence to go and stock a shelf? No. But what you can do is now those workers that normally took that pallet jack and wheeled it out into the middle of Walmart, you don't need them anymore. Those people you can let go. You know why? Because there's robots, and Amazon perfected this where a little robot will go underneath the pallet, lift it up, take it exactly where you want to go without hitting anybody, take it exactly where it needs to go, drop it down, and leave it. And then a worker will come over there, unpack the pallet, and they'll start stocking shelves. So instead of needing, 2 or potentially 3 people to load shelves and to restock shelves, now you only need 1. It's a little concerning. Another one says California is leading the charge here, but multiple states and cities are pushing their minimum wage up. California, just to give you an idea, as of April 1st, they are now giving people a $20 minimum wage. It says in this article, California's $20 minimum wage law takes effect, causing confusion, layoffs, and price hikes. I have a friend who works at a health food joint, something like that. As of April 1st, so yesterday, they had to increase prices because they are now paying their employees a little bit more. Now, granted, and this is in California, they were giving their employees $18 an hour, so now it's going to bump it up to $20 an hour. Guess how much their meals are costing them? Well, whatever it was, it's $1.25 more per meal. Yeah. So every single person has to pay $1.25 more because of this $20 minimum wage hike.
Okay.
So where does that leave us? Well,
anybody seen any signs of that around? In your neck of the woods?
Shalom, everyone. All I seen was the automatic um, little robot that would go and scan the shelves or clean the floors. That's
Okay.
about it with Walmart.
That's AI, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I would like to say something along with what he was talking about. He did not mention how, because humans have personalities and they have a sense of emotions, they can, and they get sick. So replacing them, that's another little indicate that it's going to be more to a point that you go in the store, there's no one in there but the robots.
Okay. Go
Shalom,
ahead for
everyone.
fast food. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm not sure about fast food. I have not seen that yet, but my brother works for Amazon, and they have a lot of robots in there. And I was reading an article that said by 2025, AI will be taking over 85 million jobs. So we got to really like look at that, even in the health sector. I think we saw a video last year on that where they're even getting into the healthcare field with these robots.
Okay. Yeah, well, it's coming. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely coming. It's coming fast. Okay,
Yes,
you got
sir. And you
another.
got to think about the speed that they have, right? They have, greater speed than a human being, right? And they can work consistently, without stopping. They don't have to, say, hey, take a break.
Right.
Oh, it's your 15-minute break or it's your hour lunch or whatever. They can just continuously work with that great speed. But I think
Okay.
just like technology, with that, it can mess up just like anything else when it comes to our, computers at home and at work. There's always glitches with technology.
Right. Yeah. Disastrous mistakes. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Israel to fight against the Palestinians. When it's time for you to return, do not return to South Africa. Stay in Israel because if you dare set foot in South Africa, they will arrest you and they'll prosecute you. Talk about South Africa taking the bold steps that the rest of the world has failed to take in protecting minorities and also standing up against the West. Hello there, how are you doing? Welcome to another episode of our conversations. My name is Indira Ganga. I'm a business journalist by profession and a digital content creator. And I love coming on here having conversations with you guys about Black people, Africans, our empowerment, and how we can rise up and take our rightful place on the global stage. Connect with me on social media, Indira Ganga, or you can come over to my channel. The name is New Dawn Africa channel, where I profile the continent through people, politics, and culture. So it's now emerging that different people, particularly of Jewish descent, are traveling the world to go and fight on behalf of Israel in Palestine. We've seen many Americans leave to, or many people in America, plus Americans and Jewish Americans, leave to go back to Israel and fight. We've seen people from all over the world, from Germany, from France, from China, and now there's certain people from South Africa that are actually leaving to go and fight in Israel. And the problem is they chose to leave from the wrong country, or rather, they hold the passport of a country that does not condone or tolerate impunity or genocidal acts against other people. Why do I say this? Because South Africa, time and time again, have taken a stand against Israel and said what they're doing to Palestine is wrong. South Africa is the only country that took the bold step to take Israel to the International Court of Justice on grounds of genocidal acts against Palestine. South Africa is the only country that has said it's going to sue the United States of America for aiding and abetting Israel in their genocide against the people of Palestine. So this is just a country that has taken a stand. And it's so bold of South Africa because some of these choices have massive, massive consequences. And it's on this channel where I spoke before, where South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa was saying that he fears that there'll be retaliation over the choices that South Africa has made in the last year. And guess what? It didn't take long before one of the American representatives introduced a bill to review all the businesses that America does with South Africa because they deem South Africa as an enemy. You understand? But then South Africa is still not backing down. They're saying what is wrong and what is right. And most recently, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs said that if you're a holder of a South African passport
and you go to fight in Israel, when you come back, we'll prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law. So South Africa is saying the world might not care about the rule of law, and the world might not care about holding people to account who perpetrate genocidal acts, but that will not be allowed and that will not be permitted here. If you go, rest assured, when you come back, you will go to jail. You will literally go to jail. You'll be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. This is such a bold and gutsy move, and the problem is it will, again, put more pressure on the international community to increase the sanctions with which they're going to impose on South Africa, just sort of to make them toe the line and color within the lines, because how dare you disrespect us? How dare you fight back? But that is something that is the mountain that South Africa has chosen to die on, and it's going to stick with it. So very bold to see South Africa making this decision. We await to see.
Okay. Any comments on that? Okay.
No, sir.
Yeah, so we was talking about last week, it was all over social media and all that about the black Jesus. So I got some feedback on that from some of the Europeans are doing because of it.
Recently, there has been a lot of news worldwide about how God's children might have been black. Now, the Bible does share some details about some historical characters in the Bible who were actually black, but due to misinterpretations, these facts have been ignored. They say that the truth can set you free, and some palm-colored people have actually come out saying that for a very long time, they've actually held this belief that God's people and the Messiah himself were black people. While at the same time, there's some other palm-colored people that are taken to social media because as much as only the truth can set you free, the truth also hurts. And some palm-colored people are not taking this message lightly as they're sharing some horrific perspectives on this mind-boggling fact. Now, we're not going to show you those videos in today's video because our video might get flagged, but we have lined up some videos that are going to shed light on this discussion for us to have a nuanced understanding of this topic.
Black churches don't teach this. It's because they don't want to get in the struggle either. They don't want to make it, quote unquote, racially motivated. People, this has nothing to do with racially oriented. I'm going to say that again. This has nothing to do with being racially oriented. This is biblical.
Amen.
I'm going to repeat that. This is biblical.
Amen.
These are biblical people. If they weren't, why are they in the Bible? If God didn't want you to see this, then why did he write it? He did it because it has to do with his story. I'm saying your forefathers, now walk with me, don't miss this. Because 98% of everybody out there believes that their roots starts in Africa. So they call themselves Black African Americans. And really what they should be talking to themselves is they are what? The Hebrews and the Jews of the original temple of the city of David. And the kente cloth that you find that most black culture uses as African cloth is the center cloth that was used in Solomon's temple and his mobile moving tabernacle. So where did you get that cloth from? Moses' mobile moving tabernacle. How did Moses get it? Because he was married to Zipporah and also an Ethiopian woman and etc. Now do you get the picture? Is this some good stuff? So you must take the people back past Africa, past Africa, past Africa. You got to get them back to the city of David and show them right here that your forefathers, the Queen of Sheba, was already in the city of David at the time of Solomon when the temple was being built. Oh, I don't know about you, but I can get excited about that. It's good stuff. How am I going to get this DVD? Can I get a witness of it? Amen. 1 Kings 3:1 and Song of Solomon, chapter 1, verses 5 and 6.
I am dark. Some versions say black, but lovely. O daughters of Jerusalem, like the tents of Kedar, like the curtains of Solomon. Do not look upon me because I am dark, because the sun has tanned me.
So the priesthood, and then I turned to my black culture and I said, what? Your bloodline is priesthood? And no one told you that? I mean, like, not even one sermon with the Holy Ghost? Not one time. Everybody's there. I mean, like, it never even crossed their mind. Like, I should maybe just mention this. I want to ask you a question. Why, out of thousands and thousands of preachers, would not one in the Holy Ghost have the revelation? Could it be that the presence of this thing that happened in Africa maybe still has some influence, that you forget your roots and not even be interested in it?
I want to give you this book for free. It contains the exact.
So you wonder why you're hated. Because it's what's in your blood. See, you don't know who you are. And God wants to reveal it to you. But even as I'm telling you it, no offense, can I just be friendly? Even as I tell the black culture this, it's like, don't bring it up. And so what I do with my big mouth, I bring it up. Why? Why should you be ashamed of your culture? I don't understand it. It's not in my logic. Well, you have to think about this, because sometimes we have an internal struggle because God's got a repositioning. But every culture God has, and I'm going to teach you, I'm going to share with you, every culture is in the Bible, just like this. But the reason we don't bring it up is because we have been brought up in a democracy/republic and a religion that doesn't want to discuss this because we fear what it will reveal. Because we're into controlling people instead of releasing people. Come on, everybody, amen?
Now serve Black Jesus.
Well, young lady, that's part of one of the reasons why I've been ostracized by so many people.
Knows, maybe that's the reason why nowadays people cannot have encounters with angels. And the fact that there is a war against the truth shows you how important it is actually to have the truth. Because who would want to whitewash something if it's not relevant? That means that the people that were hiding this truth understand the implications of holding true revelations about who God is. Now, for us to have a deeper understanding of how having an idea of a concept is important, just think about how people write down plans about something that they want to build, let's say an invention in history, and those ideas that were drawn on paper are now the physical things that we're able to touch, the physical items that we're now in contact with. And there's another analogy that I want to share with you that is going to shed more light on why it is very important to anticipate a truth or an idea or a concept. Think about this. How many red cars did you see in the past 1 week? The number is going to be from a range of 1 to 2. It's not going to be so many because, well, who knows how many red cars we are passing by. But if I attach something to it, let's say for every red car that you saw today, I'm going to give you $50. The number is probably maybe more than 5 right now, right? Because that is the power of anticipating something. When we're expectant of something, the signs of that something actually manifesting becomes more profound in our lives. Now, this is very important because it shows you how much aware the enemy actually is about you and me, because he understands exactly what we need. So he knew exactly what to manipulate for us not to be aware of the truth. But at the same time, this also shows you how true the Bible is when it says that all things are created by and for God, and even the wicked for the day of judgment. That means that the truth can be there, but we can't choose to accept it, or we can't choose to be awakened to it, only when God allows us to. And those that are blind to the truth have actually been designed that way for the benefit of God's judgment. Now,
okay, any comments on that? Yeah, so when I was listening to that, the first thing I thought about was Isaiah 52. Like I said, I'm always reading it, 13, 14, and 15. Where we at now today, this is relevant. Like I said, you're trying to find out who's the suffering servant in Isaiah 53. Well, here it is right here in 13, 14, and 15. The last three verses of 52. It says, behold, my servant shall deal prudently. He shall be exalted and extolled and be very high. As many as were astonished at thee, his vestige was so marred more than any man, and his form more than the sons of men. So vestige is clothes, which is, come find out, is garments, priesthood garments. 14, as many were astonished at thee, his vestige was so marred more than any man, his form more than the sons of men. Being 15, so shall he sprinkle many nations. Kings shall shut their mouths at him. This is what we have right here today. So the king shall, so shall he sprinkle many nations. The kings shall shut their mouths at him. For that which had not been told them shall they see, and that which they had not heard shall they consider. That's what we have right here. So notice she says that these men are going to sprinkle. So when you understand that, that's what the priesthood do. The Levites and the priests, they don't want to do the sprinkling. They don't want on the people. So there go your suffering servant right there. Okay. No comments on that? Okay. Open it up for some Q&A, questions and comments. Anybody have anything they want to comment about or talk about that you heard on this channel or came across? You want some clarity on it or something? You want to share it? Okay. Everybody good on that?
Yes,
I'm
sir.
gonna deal with this right here. It's 7 signs on identifying a Hebrew Israelite. This is always coming up. So let's look at it.
Hello, my brothers and sisters. Today's discussion is the 7 biblical signs of a true Hebrew Israelite according to the Bible. Number 1 will be exiled from the promised land. Number 2 will be unable to fight back against their captors or enemies. Number 3 will constantly live in oppression and poverty in their new land. Number 4 will be belittled, insulted, and ridiculed by their captors within their new land. Number 5 will be known as a very ill people. Number 6 will lose all heritage and knowledge of their history. And number 7 will be taken as slaves into all nations. This easy, brilliant trick will keep your home pest-free forever, no matter what kind of...
So it's hard to get around that when you see it. And so that's one of the things I wanted to talk about was, okay, yeah, that notice what he said, they're gonna be very sickly, and you can use that as no access to or you got limited access to health care or whatever, but the main one is you be at the bottom of the food chain. You ain't gonna be wealthy. It's like you hear people saying that King James was a black man and all that. King James was Israelite. They don't fit with the prophecy. They don't fit with the curses. He said that the Israelite, the seed, is gonna be at the bottom of the food chain. So he just laid out the 7. Now he's gonna go in on all 7 recent verses.
The first sign. Precepts. on the exile of the 12 tribes of Israel from their homeland. Leviticus chapter 26, verses 18 and 24. And if ye will not yet for all this hearken unto me, then I will punish you 7 times more for your sins. Then will I also walk contrary unto you, and will punish you yet 7 times for your sins. Verses.
So these are seven things right here you're talking about. So these have to be on you to be an Israelite. There ain't no exception. You can't be no billionaire. You know what I'm saying? Come on.
32 through 35. And I will bring the land into desolation, and your enemies which dwell therein shall be astonished at it. And I will scatter you among the heathen, and will draw out a sword after you. And your land shall be desolate, and your cities waste. Then shall the land enjoy her Sabbaths, as long as it lieth desolate, and ye be in your enemy's land. Even then shall the land rest, and enjoy her Sabbaths. As long as it lieth desolate, it shall rest, because it did not rest in your Sabbaths, when ye dwelt upon it. 1 Kings chapter 14, verses 14 and 15. Moreover, the Lord shall raise him up a king over Israel, who shall cut off the house of Jeroboam that day. But what? Even now. For the Lord shall smite Israel, as a reed is shaken in the water, and he shall root up Israel out of this good land, which he gave to their fathers, and shall scatter them beyond the river, because they have made their groves, provoking the Lord to anger. 2 Kings chapter 17, verses 18 through 20. Therefore the Lord was very angry with Israel, and removed them out of his sight. There was none left but the tribe of Judah only. Also Judah kept not the commandments of the Lord their God, but walked in the statutes of Israel which they made. And the Lord rejected all the seed of Israel, and afflicted them, and delivered them into the hand of spoilers, until he had cast them out of his sight. For the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam which he did. They departed not from them. Verse 23. Until the Lord removed Israel out of his sight, as he had said by all his servants the prophets.
Yeah, so like I said before, when you understand this and reading this, this is when they went to Assyria. So you can't read this right here and try to apply it to America. This is when they went to Syria. It's the 10 tribes. You can't apply this to America.
So was Israel carried away out of their own land to Assyria unto this day. Ezekiel chapter 39, verses 28 and 29. Then shall they know that I am the Lord their God, which caused them to be led into captivity among the heathen. But I have gathered them unto their own land, and have left none of them any more there. Neither will I hide my face any more from them, for I have poured out my spirit upon the house of Israel, saith the Lord God. The second sign, no defense, powerless. Leviticus chapter 26, verses 16 and 17. I also will do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror, consumption, and the burning ague, that shall consume the eyes and cause sorrow of heart. And ye shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemies shall eat it. And I will set my face against you, and ye shall be slain before your enemies. They that hate you shall reign over you, and ye shall flee when none pursueth you. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 25. The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them, and flee 7 ways before them, and shalt be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. Verses 31 and 32. Thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes, and thou shalt not eat thereof. Thine ass shall be violently taken away from before thy face, and shall not be restored to thee. Thy sheep shall be given unto thine enemies, and thou shalt have none to rescue them. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thine hand.
So notice right there, we didn't say nothing about nobody being rich or nobody being no king. Yeah, it's under affliction. Some dead cat on the line today, they got a whole bunch of money. Okay, we're overlooking it.
The third sign, oppression and poverty. Isaiah chapter 42, verses 22 through 25. But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses. They are for a prey, and none delivereth, for a spoil, and none say, restore. Who among you will give ear to this? Who will hearken and hear for the time to come? Who gave Jacob for a spoil and Israel to the robbers? Did not the Lord, he against whom we have sinned? For they would not walk in his ways, neither were they obedient unto his law. Therefore he hath poured upon him the fury of his anger and the strength of battle, and it hath set him on fire round about, yet he knew not. And it burned him, yet he laid it not to heart. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 28 and 29. The Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart, and thou shalt grope at noonday, as the blind gropeth in darkness, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, and thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee. Verses 33. The fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed alway. Verses 43 and 44. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. The fourth sign, the insults. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations whither the Lord shall lead thee. Psalms chapter 44, verses 13 through 15. Thou makest us a reproach to our neighbors, a scorn and a derision to them that are round about us. Thou makest us a byword among the heathen, a shaking of the head among the people. My confusion is continually before me, and the shame of my face hath covered me. Jeremiah chapter 2, verses 36 and 37. Why gaddest thou about so much to change thy way? Thou also shalt be ashamed of Egypt, as thou wast ashamed of Assyria. Yea, thou shalt go forth from him, and thine hands upon thine head. For the Lord hath rejected thy confidences, and thou shalt not prosper in them. The fifth sign, the illness. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 58 through 61. If thou wilt not observe to do all the words of this law that are written in this book, that thou mayest fear this glorious and fearful name, the Lord thy God, then the Lord will make thy plagues wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues and of long continuance, and sore sicknesses and of long continuance. Moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, which thou wast afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. Also every sickness and every plague, which is not written in the book of this law, them will the Lord bring upon thee, until thou be destroyed. Deuteronomy chapter 29, verses 21 and 22. And the Lord shall separate him unto evil out of all the tribes of Israel, according to all the curses of the covenant that are written in this book of the law, so that the generation to come of your children that shall rise up after you, and the stranger that shall come from a far land, shall say, when they see the plagues of that land, and the sicknesses which the Lord hath laid upon it.
Do you want to learn the trading strategies that we perfected over the
No comments any comments so far? Okay. Two more.
Shalom.
Okay.
Sorry about that. When he said a plague that is not written, could that be the COVID and the diabetes
Yeah,
or
Ebola.
the illnesses?
Yeah,
Yes.
the ones we see today, Ebola, all these recent diseases.
Yeah.
They,
Then
they,
there's monkeypox and
right.
things that's unheard of. Yes, sir.
Exactly. Okay.
Lost heritage and history. Jeremiah chapter 17, verses 4 and 5. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee. And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever. Thus saith the Lord, Cursed be the man that trusteth in man, and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart departeth from the Lord. Isaiah chapter 1, verses 3 and 7. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel doth not know, my people doth not consider.
Yeah, notice, just wanted to shine a light on this. He just said, cursed be the man that put his trust in man. So, JC or man?
Country is desolate. Your cities are burned with fire. Your land, strangers devour it in your presence, and it is desolate, as overthrown by strangers. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 6. My people hath been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 36. The Lord shall bring thee, and thy king which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. And there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone.
Number 7.
The seventh sign. The captivity. Joel chapter 3, verses 1 through 3. For behold, in those days, and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations, and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink. Jeremiah chapter 15, verses 2 through 7. And it shall come to pass, if they say unto thee, Whither shall we go forth? Then thou shalt tell them, Thus saith the Lord, such as are for death to death, and such as are for the sword to the sword, and such as are for the famine to the famine, and such as are for the captivity to the captivity. And I will appoint over them 4 kinds, saith the Lord, the sword to slay, and the dogs to tear, and the fowls of the heaven, and the beasts of the earth to devour and destroy. And I will cause them to be removed into all kingdoms of the earth, because of Manasseh the son of Hezekiah, king of Judah, for that which he did in Jerusalem. For who shall have pity upon thee, O Jerusalem, or who shall bemoan thee? Or who shall go aside to ask how thou doest? Thou hast forsaken me, saith the Lord. Thou art gone backward. Therefore will I stretch out my hand against thee and destroy thee. I am weary with repenting, and I will fan them with a fan in the gates of the land. I will bereave them of children. I will destroy my people, since they return not from their ways. Luke chapter 21, verse 24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 41. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. Verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck, until he have destroyed thee. And verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
If you have at least $50,000 saved for retirement,
Let's precept the conclusion of the seven signs. Ezekiel chapter 20, verses 34 through 38. And I will bring you out from the people, and will gather you out of the countries wherein ye are scattered, with a mighty hand, and with a stretched out arm, and with fury poured out. And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face. Like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt, so will I plead with you, saith the Lord God. And I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant, and I will purge out from among you the rebels and them that transgress against me. I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Israel. And ye shall know that I am the Lord. Revelation chapter 2, verse 9. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews, and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Revelation chapter 3, verse 9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. Jeremiah chapter 31, verses 7 through 12. For thus saith the Lord, sing with gladness for Jacob, and shout among the chief of the nations. Publish ye, praise ye, and say, O Lord, save thy people, the remnant of Israel. Behold, I will bring them from the north country, and gather them from the coasts of the earth, and with them the blind and the lame, the woman with child, and her that travaileth with child together. A great company shall return thither. They shall come with weeping, and with supplications will I lead them. I will cause them to walk by the rivers of waters in a straight way, wherein they shall not stumble. For I am a father to Israel, and Ephraim is my firstborn. Hear the word of the Lord, O ye nations, and declare it in the isles afar off, and say, He that scattered Israel will gather him and keep him, as a shepherd doth his flock. For the Lord hath redeemed Jacob, and ransomed him from the hand of him that was stronger than he. Therefore they shall come and sing in the height of Zion, and shall flow together to the goodness of the Lord, for wheat, and for wine, and for oil, and for the young of the flock and of the herd. And their soul shall be as a watered garden, and they shall not sorrow any more at all. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verses 13 and 14. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil.
Okay, any comments on that? Yeah, I got a couple things I want to shine light on. Okay, let me get this. Yeah, so he said that he's going to deliver them from out of the countries where he's driven them from him that is stronger than he. Okay, anybody ring a bell for anybody? When Jacob and Esau, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. No, sir, I was, go ahead. That was different. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
When Jacob was born, Jacob and Esau was born, he said that one was stronger than the other one. So right there, he's representing Esau. You got to deliver us from Esau. Esau, the one behind all these atrocities, all the things that's going on with us is Esau. He behind it. He's the one with the New Testament. He's the one who came with the slave ships. He's the one who was over the plantations. He behind that all. So he said he has to deliver us from him who is stronger than us. It's Esau. Okay. And another one was, he said, he's going to deliver us with a hand stretched out, right? And so, you hear that, but a lot of people don't have the understanding of that. So when he brought them out of Egypt, he told Moses, go down to the river and wait there. He's gonna bring the Pharaoh there. When the Pharaoh got there, he told Moses to stretch forth his hand and open up, open the water up. But a lot of people don't know that he's standing there too. And he got his hand stretched out. He's the one. Moses, they see what Moses doing, but Moses know who's doing it. Moses got his hand stretched out, but the Lord of hosts, the one just got his hand stretched out. He didn't want to open up the Red Sea. So you say, what are you talking about? You go to Deuteronomy 32. Right? Deuteronomy 32. Okay, 32. Okay, and start at 39. See now, 32 and 38. See, in 39, I mean, see now, even I am he, and there is there's no God with me. I kill, I make alive, I wound, I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hands. He the deliverer, right? 40. For I lift up my hands under heaven, and I say, I shall live forever. So he got his hands stretched out to heaven, to the Creator, to Yahweh. If I, with my glistening sword, we know who got the sword, in my hand, take hold of judgment. So that's how he brings forth judgment, with his hands stretched out, right? I will render vengeance to my enemies, and I reward them that hate me. So go one more place. Daniel chapter 12. Daniel chapter 12. So we'll read, I start at verse 1. It's going to tell you who it is. Daniel 12 and 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of Israel, for thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble such as never was. Since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time my people shall be delivered. Right? When Michael stand up, they're going to be delivered. Everyone that shall be found written in the book. Ain't no New Testament right here in Daniel 12. Many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. So we notice right here, this for the people that, not understanding what's going on. It says, many of them that shall sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. So what is he talking about? Well, we know right here in chapter 12, verse 1, it's telling you Michael, when Michael stand up, the archangel, the great prince, when he stand up. So let's look at it. Go to Ezekiel right quick. 37. So he said that some when they awake, so it's out of their graves. So we're going to see what this Lord of hosts here. Chapter 37 says, and 12, well, we start at 10. So 37 and 10. So I prophesied as he commanded me, the Lord of hosts. Daniel 12 tell you it's Michael. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and breath came into them, and they lived, and stood upon their feet, and they exceeding a great army. Then he said unto me, Son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel. But they say our bones are dry, and our hope is lost. And, our hope is lost. We are cut off from our parts. 12. Therefore, this is the Lord of hosts talking to Ezekiel. Therefore prophesy and say unto them, Thus said the Lord God, not JC, the Lord God, behold, O my people, I will open up your graves, cause you to come up out of your graves, bring you into the land of Israel, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. When I have opened up your graves, O my people, and brought you up out of your graves, and I shall put my spirit in you, ye shall live, and it shall place you in your own land. Then shall ye know that I, the Lord, have spoken it, performed it, and says the Lord. So you go back. Then chapter 12, verse 2. That's what he's talking about. Many of them that shall sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake. Some the everlasting life, some the shame and everlasting contempt. That's, he just told them. When I do this, you come out of your graves, you're going to know it's me. It ain't no your house shot. Okay? 3. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars for forever and ever. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words, seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall increase. Then I, Daniel, looked, and behold, there stood the other two, right? The one on this side of the bank of the river, and the other on the other side of the bank of the river. Here we go. 6. And one said to the man clothed in linen, which was upon the river, the waters. He's standing in the middle of the water. Lord of hosts, how long shall the end of these wonders? Then here we go. And I held up, and I heard the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters, standing in the middle of the river, when he had held up his right hand and his left hand stretched out. That's what he's talking about. I'm gonna deal with you with outstretched hand. See that? Upon heaven, and I swore to him that liveth forever and ever, that liveth forever, that it shall be for a time, half a time, and when he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, all these things shall be finished. And I heard, but I understood not. Then said I, O my Lord, what shall be the end of these things? Right? So we see right here, that's what he's talking about. So with an outstretched hand, he came to Egypt with the outstretched hands and with the 10 plagues. Every time he brought a plague, he got his hand stretched out. Then he delivered us out of Egypt, took us in the wilderness, and then he's in the process of our wandering in the wilderness, he separated. That's the rod. We separated the wicked feed from the righteous feed. Same thing finna happen now. We saw where he opened the water up, laid us through the water, did the same thing in Babylon. Went to Babylon, shut Babylon down, brought us back to Jerusalem. And we got scattered again over here. Well, we got scattered into Africa, then they came with the ships and brought us here. Same process. With outstretched hands, he gonna come deliver us from here, take us back to the land, punish, separate the wicked fig from the righteous fig on the way back, and then when we get to the land, the righteous fig is gonna go into the land. Ain't nothing new under the sun. And like I said before, ain't no JC, no sun in that nowhere. Okay. Any comments?
Yes, sir. When it's mentioned time and times and a half, is that the 3 years and a half? Like
No. That's you look at the last part of that. Like I said, he's not right here. He's not necessarily talking to us. He said 7. And I heard the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, when he had held up his right hand and his left hand under heaven, and he swore by him that liveth forever, it shall be for times and a half a time, and when he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people. Who the holy people?
the Israelites.
Right. So they in Babylon. Daniel had his vision in Babylon. They came back from Babylon and with Zerubbabel and rebuilt the temple. Then they got scattered. This is scattered he's talking about. They scattered them. They went back with the same thing they was doing. They got them into Babylon. Then he brought the Greeks. So this was accomplished when he scattered the holy people right here. That's what Daniel chapter 8 tell you. Verse 23, start at verse 3. 23 says, in the latter times of their kingdom, the Greek kingdom, when the transgressors are come to a fool, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark silence shall stand up as Antiochus. His power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. He shall destroy wonderfully. He shall prosper, practice, and he shall destroy the mighty and the holy people of Israel. That's what he's talking about in Daniel 12. It was accomplished. It was prophesied by Daniel. Okay, and then 25 says, through his policies also he shall cause craft to prosper his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart. By peace he shall destroy many, and he shall also stand up against the prince of princes. We know what that is, Lord of hosts. Right? All these angels are prince, sons of God. So this the great prince, the prince of princes right here. Yahweh ain't no prince. So this ain't who destroyed Antiochus. It was a prince that destroyed it, Lord of hosts. Okay. Anyway, so yeah. So Daniel was talking about, like I said, Daniel is in, when you understand the timeline where Daniel lived, he's a captive in Babylon. So the vision, the temple that he had, the vision he talking about, the temple, all this stuff is happening or gonna happen after they leave Babylon. The prince that shall come in Daniel 9:26 is Antiochus. Because we know in 9:25, that's Zerubbabel, that's not Jesus. It says, know therefore understand from the going forth for the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem until the Messiah, that's Zerubbabel, the prince, shall be 7 weeks. The prince shall be 7 weeks, 62 weeks. The street shall be built again. That's when Zerubbabel went back. And the wall, that's Nehemiah. Even in troublesome times, then 26. And after 62 weeks, shall the Messiah, Zerubbabel got cut off. And it wasn't until Darius came on scene, he got cut off for 2 years. And they was rebuilding his temple. But he said the Messiah shall be cut off, but not for himself. And the people of the prince that shall come, that's Antiochus, shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, the temple, even and the end thereof shall be with a flood until the end, their wars and desolation. So, you know, Daniel, man, you can't leave the book of Daniel and go to Revelation. You got nothing to do with it. That's how they set it up, but you can't leave Daniel and go. Daniel was talking about things that's going to shortly come after when a prophet get a vision, those are things that shortly going to come. It's like when Abraham prophesied about them going to captivity in Babylon, going to captivity in a strange land, he talked about Egypt. They went into captivity after Abraham died. And just like he said, they went in there, he delivered them, they did the 430 years, and then he brought them out with great substance. And then they went back and he destroyed the Amorites. Ain't no Amorites nowhere around now. The Amorites is the plumb line. Okay, everybody good on that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, got some comments. Now's the time. Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna read this here. Like I said, I was reading it and I read this over and over again. I had never saw this. I'm in Joshua chapter 71. I'm gonna read this one chapter and then I'll close out. So it says, and when Moses was 18 years old, he desired to see his father, right, and mother, and he went to them at Goshen. And when Moses had came near Goshen, he came to the place where the children of Israel were engaged in work, right? He observed their burdens and saw an Egyptian smiting one of his brethren, right? So yeah, he saw an Egyptian smiting one of his brothers. says, and like I said, we know the Egyptian mean Mizraim, and the Mizraim, those are giants. These fallen angels came to Egypt, engaged with the Egyptians. When they made the pact on Mount Hermon, they went to Egypt. So Mizraim was a race of giants, just like you got giants all over Deuteronomy chapter 2. The I am is giants. So you say, what are you talking about? Let's keep reading. And when the man who was beaten, look at this. And when the man who was beaten saw Moses, he ran unto him for help. So this man, this Egyptian, we know he's a giant. He's a powerful man. He beating the hell out of this other man. For the man, Moses was greatly respected in the house of Pharaoh. And he said to him, my Lord, attend to me. This Egyptian, right, came to my house. Look at this. Check it out. We was reading this in book of Adam and Eve, what Cain's seed was doing before the flood. This Egyptian came to my house in the night. See that? Bound me. There's another man talking. And came to my wife in my presence. And now he seeks to take my life away. So he came to him. He's so strong, so overpowering than he is, came in his house, beat him down, bound him, and then went into his wife in front of him. Right? So let's look at it. Let's go back to put the, line it up. Okay. So I'm in the book of Adam and Eve. So here we go. Yeah, so it says right here. You get it? Yeah. In a minute. Yeah, here you go. So it says, it's about 10 verses. I got to read it. After Cain had gone down to the land of dark soil, and his children had multiplied, there was one of them whose name was Tubal, son of Lamech, the blind, who slew Cain. Satan came to go to Tubal in his childhood and made a variety of trumpets and horns and stringed instruments, cymbals and pastries and lyrics and harps and flutes. And Tubal played them at all times, at every hour. And when he played them, Satan came to them, so that from among them were heard beautiful and sweet sounds that seized the heart with delight. Then he gathered many crowds to play on them. And when they had played, he greatly pleased the children of Cain, who fanned themselves with flames of sin among themselves, and they burned with fire, while Satan inflamed their hearts with one another, and lust increased among them. So right here, he got hot. So it ain't nothing good about getting hot. See that? So it says, then he gathered many crowds and played on him. And when they played, it greatly pleased the children of Cain, who fanned themselves with flames of sin among themselves, and they burned with fire, while Satan inflamed their hearts one with another. But lust increased among them. Satan also taught Tubal to make strong drinks out of corn. Tubal used this to bring together crowds upon crowds and houses of drink. And he brought into their hands all kinds of fruits and flowers, and they drank together. Tubal did this to multiply sin greatly. He also acted with pride, and he taught the children of Cain to commit all manner of grossness of wickedness, which they did not know until then. And he put them up to all kinds of deeds, which they did not know before. Then, when Satan saw that they obeyed Tubal and listened to him and everything he told them, he rejoiced greatly, and he increased Tubal's understanding until he took iron and made weapons of war. Here we go. This is how we know who the giants are. I mean, who these Egyptians are. Then, when they were drunk, hatred and murder increased among them. One man would use violence against another, and Satan would teach him evil, in that one man would take another man's children and defile them before him. There it is. So that's what the Egyptians doing. The same thing. It's after the flood. What I just read was before the flood. So he says, let me get it. And when Moses heard this thing, okay, go up too. And when the man who was beaten saw Moses, he ran to him for help. For the man Moses was greatly respected in the house of Pharaoh. And he said to the man, my Lord, attend unto me. This Egyptian came to my house in the night, bound me, and came to my wife in my presence. So now he did all that. And now he seeks to take my life away. Come on, see that? The more ideal characteristics of a giant. Say, oppressive. So, and when Moses heard this wicked thing, his answer was kindled against the Egyptian. And he turned this way and the other. And when he saw there was no man there, he smote the Egyptian and hid him in the sand and delivered the Hebrew from the hand of him who smote him. Okay, so let's look at that. So we get the story of David. Goliath, when David took the stones, killed Goliath. Well, look here. Moses just killed an Egyptian. Ain't that something? And said 3. And when Moses heard this, okay, I read that. And the Hebrew went to his house, and Moses returned to his home and went forth and came back to the king's house. Here you go. This guy, this Egyptian beat the dude down, tied him up, slept with his wife in front of him. And now Moses came and killed the Egyptian. The guy went back to his house. And when the man had returned home, he thought of repudiating his wife, for it was not right in the house of Jacob for any man to come to his wife after she had been defiled. So they go to the garden. They'll explain a lot what happened in the garden. It says, for it was not right in the house of Jacob, 12 tribes, for any man to come to his wife after she had been defiled. And the woman went and told her brothers. And the woman brothers sought to slay him, and he fled to his house and escaped. And on the second day, Moses went forth to his brethren. So these two men looking for this man to kill him, right? So he told them what happened. Moses helped him, right? I didn't see that before recently. So it says, and on the second day, Moses went forth to his brethren and saw, behold, 2 men, these same 2 right here, that were looking for him, quarreling. And he said to the wicked one, why doest thou smite thy neighbor? And he answered him and said unto him, who has set thee for a prince and for a judge over us? Dost thou think to slay me as thou didst slay the Egyptian? And Moses was afraid, and he said, surely this thing is known. And the Pharaoh heard of this affair, and he ordered Moses to be slain. So God sent his angel. Check it out. Read over this too. So God sent his angel, and he appeared unto Pharaoh in the likeness of the captain of the guard. So let's look at this, because it's going to explain. I was telling you, the story is when you go to Zeus and the myth of Zeus, we know these ain't number fallen angels. Daniel tells us that. We said that Gabriel told him, I came to help you when you first started praying 21 days ago, but the prince of Persia held me up. That's a fallen angel. And then he said, and Michael had to come to help me. So right here, just look at what he's doing, how they operate. Pharaoh heard this. Pharaoh heard of this affair, and he ordered Moses to be slain. So God sent an angel, and he appeared unto the Pharaoh in the likeness of the captain of the guard. So he's looking like the captain. He shapeshifted. He showed himself as the Lord of hosts for the Pharaoh. Right? Check out what happened. And the angel of the Lord took the sword. See that? The angel of the Lord took the sword from the hand of the captain of the guard and took his head took his head off with it. So this angel chopped off. He appearing. He got the Pharaoh looking at him as if he the captain of the guard, right? And then he got Moses. He got the captain of the guard looking like Moses. So we turn around, chopped the captain of the guard head off. The Pharaoh think it's Moses. He think judgment being executed. Let's look at it. See, and the angel of the Lord took the sword from the hand of the captain of the guard and took his head off with it. For the likeness of the captain of the guard was turned into the likeness of Moses. See that? That's what we fumbling with. See that? Okay, keep going. This is how he delivered Moses. And the angel of the Lord took hold of the right hand of Moses and brought him forth from Egypt, placed him from without the borders of Egypt, a distance of 40 days journey. And Aaron and his brothers alone remained in the land of Egypt. And he prophesied to the children of Israel. So this is why nobody was looking for Moses. They thought Moses, the judgment had been executed. So, like I said before, when you go to Ezekiel, when the Most High is talking to the prince of Tyre, it's Satan, it's Lucifer, Samuel. And so you say, you go back to Zeus, and they're telling you all these sons that Zeus got. Like Alexandria. Olympia kept saying over and over again, telling Philip that, you ain't none of his daddy. You ain't got nothing to do with him. Leave him alone. That's Zeus' son. And so if you do your research, he knew that. Philip knew that because the boy ain't look nothing like him. Alexander didn't look nothing like him. He was same way that the Lord host did right there. That's what he was doing with the women, the king's wives and all that. The king went off to war, and he come in, fly up there, and change it to him, and go in there and sleep with her. She thinking that it's her husband. They have that ability to shapeshift. So, like I said, you let that firmate do what you want to do with it, but I'm just showing you what time it is. And me from looking at that, that's what I believe is going on with the cloud, with the seven, with the that Ezekiel saw in chapter 1. And he saw the four angels in the cloud, and he said they had each one of them had 4 heads. You know what I'm saying? It's not, you see them drawing these pictures of this angel with 4 heads. No, that ain't what's going on. It ain't what's going on. They got the ability to transform and like he said, as if they're going back and forth, but that's what it is. They have the abilities to do that. Shapeshift. Transform and flip the dip. We even seen what he did when Moses, let's look at that right quick, then I'll close out. Let's look at what happened earlier with Moses, when Moses got his mouth burned up. Let's look at it. I was in 71. Look at it. Yeah, it says, okay. Okay. Yeah, I think it's in 66. It says, okay, it might have been it.
Shalom, brother. Let me try 70.
70.
You saying about the hot coals in the book of Jasher?
Right.
70 and 29, and they placed the boy before them and laid endeavor to stretch forth his hand. Yes, sir.
Yeah, right. So we'll start at 26. But if he stretched forth, I gotta go back a little more. So somebody might have never heard this. 20. Balaam said to the king, let us overcall for all the judges of Egypt and the wise men, and let us know if the judgment of death is due to this boy, as thou did say, and then or we will slay him. And okay, so it happened. Moses took the kings. Let me go up 17. And when God caused a famine throughout all the land, he sent for and brought his father and his brothers and the whole of his father's household, and supported them without price or reward, and brought the Egyptians for slaves. Now therefore, my Lord, behold, this child has risen up in his stead in Egypt to do according to the deeds, to trifle with every king, prince, and judge. If it please the king, let us spill his blood upon the ground, lest he grow up and make away the government from my land, and the hope of Egypt perish after he shall have reigned. And Balaam said to the king, let us moreover call for all the judges of Egypt and the wise men thereof, and let us know if the judgment of death is due to this boy, as thou did say, and then he will slay him. So Moses took the king Pharaoh's crown off his head, put it on his head. That's why they in an uproar. And all these people, they superstitious and wizards, so they know there's some kind of armor, so they freaking out. And then 21, Pharaoh sent, he called for all the wise men of Egypt, and they came before the king. And here you go. And the angel of the Lord came amongst them, and he was like one of the wise men. So there you go again, shapeshifting. He was like one of the wise men of Egypt. And the king said to the wise men, surely you have heard what this Hebrew boy who is in the house has done, and thus has Balaam judged in the matter. Now judge you also, and see what is due to the boy for the act that he has committed. And the angel, who seemed like one of the wise men of Pharaoh, answered and said as follows, before all the wise men of Egypt and before all the king and princes, if it please the king, let the king send for men who shall bring before him an onyx stone and a coal of fire, and place them before the child. If the child shall stretch forth his hand and take the onyx stone, then shall we know that with wisdom has the youth done all that he has done, and we must slay him. But if he stretch forth his hand unto the coal, then shall we know that it was not with knowledge that he did this thing, and he shall live. And the thing seemed good in the eyes of the king and the princes. So the king did according to the word of the angel of the Lord. And the king ordered the onyx stone and the coal to be brought to place before Moses. And they placed the boy before them, and the lad endeavored to stretch forth his hands to the onyx stone, but the angel of the Lord took his hand, placed it upon the coal, and the coal became extinguished in his hand. And he lifted it up and put it in his mouth, and burned part of his lips and part of his tongue, and he became heavy in the mouth and tongue. So this is how Moses became heavy tongue. That's why he was so concerned about Aaron speaking for him. He was concerned because he couldn't talk that good because of what happened right here. But like I said before, what that said in the New Testament, or what that said in the King James. Okay. Any comments or anything?
Yes, sir. When we read back where Moses where the angel had cut off the captain's head, and they all thought that Moses was dead. Well, one of the angels came to Aaron to let Aaron know about came to Aaron to tell Aaron to go to Moses because he was in the desert somewhat, for him to be the one to let the Israelites free from Pharaoh.
Right. That's in the King James, right?
Well, yeah. Well, I've get yes, sir. That he went
Yeah, he
to
told Moses.
seek Moses, so he can
Right, he
tell
told
them
Moses.
about Pharaoh.
He told Moses that the men that seek your life is dead. go back to Egypt. And at the same time, he told Aaron to go out and meet his brother Moses. They was coming. He just same way he did with Hagar. He dealing with Sarah at the same time. He dealing with Hagar. Like I said, that's who the deliverer is. It ain't none of JC. You're all over the Old Testament, but you can't see him because you're dealing with JC. But that's him.
Yes,
he went and saved Hagar and her son Ishmael, and told him he gonna be a great, he gonna be a nation too. At the same time, he talking to Moses and Sarah and handling that. That's him that went to Abraham in chapter 18. That's who went to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. But like I said before, you can't see none of that. As long as you holding on to JC, you ain't gonna see none of that.
Yes, sir.
As soon as it opened up like a flower. Yeah.
Yes, sir. It's like people say if they can't see it, they don't believe it. And they have the image of JC, so now they believe it. But like we were saying earlier, no man is going to save you. Mm-hmm. So, like you said, he's a man. He came as a man, not like the Redeemer coming to be the person, the figure that chopped off the captain's head. Not like that. He's a spirit that went into him, but JC did not do that. He was born in right. Yes, sir.
Yeah. He can't. That's who came with Shadrach and Meshach. It don't say Jesus came in the fiery furnace. The angel of the Lord showed up, and the same one just showed up right there. He showed up in the fiery furnace and saved Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And Moses on the mountain. Yahweh ain't there. He says that the angel of the Lord. Moses was tending the flock on the backside of the mountain, and he came to the mountain of God. The angel of the Lord was there, not Yahweh, not Jesus. And like I said, he had the ability to shapeshift. He showed Moses him in a flame of a fire. That's his original form. He showed it. He lit on the bush like a fire, and that's what got Moses' attention. That's who saved Sarah from the Pharaoh when they stole Sarah's wife. He went and told the Pharaoh to let her go. It ain't Jesus. So yeah. So no sooner than when you figure that out, I say the scriptures open up. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else got anything before we? Any comments or questions before we go? Okay. Yeah. So you say shalom, everybody. I see everybody. We got class tomorrow, 7 to 9, reading through the Tanakh. So I see y'all tomorrow at 7. Shalom.
Shalom, shalom, everyone.
Shalom, everyone.